Scotland packs a dramatic landscape into a surprisingly small area. You get ancient castles perched on volcanic rock, some of the oldest geological formations on Earth, island chains with archaeological sites older than the pyramids, and a capital city that feels like history layered on top of itself. Most visitors arrive in the Highlands and leave having discovered the whole country deserves more time. Welcome to Optimized Travel Destinations. My name is Ricky, and I am part of the Optimized Travel team. We help travelers plan amazing trips through our concierge service, and our team has put together the absolute best places Scotland has to offer. These are the 10 best places to visit in Scotland. Let's get started. Number 10, Stirling. Between Edinburgh and the Highlands lies a city that tends to get treated as a stopping point rather than a destination in its own right. Stirling is worth far more than that. Stirling sits roughly halfway between Edinburgh and Perth, at the point where the lowlands give way to the Highlands. It was the gateway to the north for most of Scottish history, and whoever held Stirling Castle tended to hold Scotland. The castle sits on a volcanic plug just like Edinburgh Castle, but with wider views and far fewer crowds. Inside the castle, the Great Hall and royal apartments have been restored to their 16th century appearance, including the Stirling Heads. The town below the castle has one of the finest medieval streetscapes in Scotland. The Church of the Holy Rood is also the only church in the UK outside Westminster Abbey where a Scottish monarch was crowned. 2 kilometers away, the Wallace Monument on its wooded hill marks the site of William Wallace's victory at Stirling Bridge in 1297. The views from the top over the Forth Valley and the distant Highlands are great. My favorite thing about Stirling is the view from the castle esplanade at dark, the Forth Valley going golden below, the Highland Hills on the horizon turning purple. It's the kind of view that tells you exactly where you are in Scotland. Stirling is 45 minutes by train from both Edinburgh and Glasgow. A full day covers the castle, Wallace Monument, and the Old Town, so it makes an ideal first stop on a route north into the Highlands. Number 9, Oban. There's a small town on the west coast of Scotland where you can stand at a seafood stall on the pier, eat freshly caught langoustines, and watch the ferries heading out to a dozen different islands. Oban is one of those places that earns its reputation. Oban sits on the Firth of Lorne in Argyll, about 100 kilometers north of Glasgow on the west coast. It's the main ferry hub for the Inner Hebrides and has developed a strong identity as both a seafood town and gateway to the islands. Above the town, McCaig's Tower sits on a hill with a panorama over the bay, the harbour, and the island of Carrera across the water. The Oban Distillery, one of Scotland's smallest, has been producing single malt in the centre of town since 1794 and runs an excellent tour. The real draw, though, is the water and what comes out of it. Oban's seafood stall on the pier is one of the most celebrated cheap seafood spots in Scotland. If I had to pick one thing, it's a plate of freshly caught langoustines at the pier stall, followed by the walk up to McCaig's Tower for sunset. That combination of seafood and the sunset view over the bay is one of the best evenings anywhere on Scotland's west coast. Head to Oban between May and September when the ferries to the islands are running constantly. It's about a 3-hour train ride from Glasgow. Plan to spend 2 nights here, one exploring the town itself and another day tripping out to Mull, Islay, or the Isle of Carrera. Number 8, St. Andrews. St. Andrews is 3 things at once: the home of golf, the home of Scotland's oldest university, and one of the finest small coastal towns in the country. Most visitors come for one and stay for all 3. St. Andrews is on the east coast of Fife, about an hour's drive north of Edinburgh, across the Firth of Forth. The town sits above wide beaches beside the ruins of what was once the largest church in Scotland, and a golf course in continuous use since the 15th century. The old course at St. Andrews is the most storied golf course in the world, played by royalty, professionals, and club golfers on the same public ground. The 18th hole and its stone bridge are among the most recognizable images in sport. Non-golfers can walk the course freely in the evenings and on Sundays when play stops. The ruined cathedral still has walls standing tall enough to tell you how vast it was. The university, Scotland's oldest, founded in 1413, fills the medieval center with students in red gowns, a tradition dating back centuries. My favorite part of St. Andrews is the West Sands beach in the early morning. The long arc of pale sand, almost empty, with the town behind it. It's the same beach that opens Chariots of Fire, and it looks exactly as it does in the film. St. Andrews is just an hour's bus ride from Edinburgh or Dundee, so you can easily fit it into a day trip. You'll have time to check out the cathedral, take a stroll along the beach, and see the legendary Old Course. Fair warning though, if you're keen to actually play on the Old Course, you'll need to enter the ballot for a tee time way in advance. Number 7. Orkney Islands. Orkney is one of those places that resets your sense of how old civilization actually is. There are structures here that predate Stonehenge by 1,000 years and the Egyptian pyramids by 500. The Orkney Islands lie about 10 miles off the northern tip of mainland Scotland across the Pentland Firth. The main island, mainland, contains most of the population and the majority of the prehistoric sites, which together form the heart of Neolithic Orkney, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Skara Brae is absolutely incredible. It's the best preserved Neolithic village you'll find in Northern Europe. You're looking at a whole cluster of stone houses from around 3100 BC, and what's really amazing is that the stone furniture inside them is still there. It's like stepping back in time. The Ring of Brodgar is another must-see, a stone circle with 60 original stones nestled between two lochs. If you want something even older, head to the nearby standing stones of Stennis. Then there's Hoy, where you'll find St. John's Head, Britain's highest sea cliffs. We're talking 335 meters of sheer vertical sandstone dropping straight into the Atlantic. It's pretty dramatic. I actually think Skara Brae is the most moving prehistoric site in Britain, more than Stonehenge. Standing inside those 5,000-year-old houses with the stone bed frames in front of you is something Stonehenge can't give you. Interior space, domestic detail, and the suggestion of actual lives lived. You can reach Orkney by ferry from Scrabster or overnight from Aberdeen, and there are also flights from Edinburgh, Inverness, and Aberdeen. Plan for at least 3 days. The prehistoric sites alone deserve 2. Number 6. Cairngorms National Park. The Cairngorms is the largest national park in the UK and one of the last truly wild landscapes in Britain. The plateau at the top is closer in character to the Norwegian interior than to anything else in the British Isles. The park covers a huge area of the eastern Scottish Highlands, centered roughly on a V-moor in the Strathspey Valley. Within the park live around half the UK's rare wildlife species, including red squirrels, ospreys, golden eagles, and the only free-roaming reindeer herd in Britain. The Cairngorm Plateau is the highest and wildest stretch of land in the UK, and it genuinely feels remote even in summer. The Lerrig is a 30-kilometer pass cutting directly through the range and is one of Scotland's great long-distance walks. Lower down, Rothiemurchus preserves ancient Scots pine forest, while the trails around Loch and Eyeline, with its castle on a wooded island, are among the finest woodland walks in the Highlands. Aviemore is the park's main town and Scotland's primary ski base in winter. My favorite part of the Cairngorms is the Loch Morlich shoreline at first light. Scots pines reflected in the water, the mountains behind them, and if you're early enough, a red squirrel in the trees before you've even reached the car park. Aviemore's just a 2.5-hour train ride from Edinburgh. The park is brilliant year-round. Come in summer for walks and wildlife spotting, or come in the winter for skiing and those gorgeous snow-covered pines. Budget at least 3 days if you want to properly explore both the high ground and the forests. Number 5. Glencoe. There are valleys in Scotland that are beautiful. Glencoe is in a different category. It's one of those places where the landscape itself holds something, a particular quality of light, an atmosphere that makes it feel unlike anywhere else in the country. Glencoe is in the Highland region of Scotland, about 17 kilometers long, running east from the head of Loch Leven on the west coast. The A82 road runs through it, making it accessible from Glasgow in about 2 hours, which is why it's one of the most visited landscapes in Scotland. The glen is hemmed in by some seriously dramatic scenery: the Three Sisters rock formation on the south and the Aonoic Egach Ridge on the north, which is one of Scotland's most spectacular ridge walks. The River Coe runs through the valley floor with its waterfalls, but there's a darker side to this place. In 1962, the massacre of Glencoe happened here when government troops murdered 38 members of the MacDonald clan, people who'd welcomed them as guests. That tragedy haunts the glen's story. The Glencoe Visitor Center in the village covers the history well, and if you want an easy introduction to the landscape, take the geology and wildlife trail that heads out from there into the valley. I think the Aonoic Egach Ridge is Scotland's finest scramble. The views from the narrow crest above the valley, the glen directly below you, Loch Leven in the distance are the kind that stay with you. Glencoe really deserves more than just a quick drive-through. Stay overnight in the glen if you can. There's an excellent youth hostel right in the glen itself. Spring through autumn is prime walking season, but winter's pretty stunning too with the snow and dramatic light. Just be aware that the roads can shut down, so you need to check conditions first. Number 4, Loch Lomond and the Trossachs. Loch Lomond is Scotland's largest lake and one of its most accessible stretches of highland landscape, barely 30 minutes from Glasgow by road, which means it's the first taste of the Highlands for many visitors. Loch Lomond and the Trossachs National Park covers a compact area of the Southern Highlands, roughly between Glasgow in the southwest and Stirling to the east. The park combines the dramatic scenery of the Central Highlands with the gentler wooded hills of the Trossachs, making it one of the most diverse national parks in the UK. The western shore of Loch Lomond is the busy side, with Luss as a handy base. For something quieter, take the ferry to the eastern shore, where you get access to Ben Lomond, a popular 974-meter mountain. The Trossachs to the east are stunning. Wooded lochs and glens, Loch Katrine with its Victorian steamship, and Ashray Forest with brilliant mountain biking trails. This is Rob Roy McGregor country too. The famous Highland outlaw was born here, and his story's woven into the landscape. I'd recommend taking the ferry from Ardluie to the eastern shore and walking the lower slopes of Ben Lomond rather than driving around. The view back across the loch from the hillside is one that makes sense of the whole place. It's just a 45-minute train ride from Glasgow to Balloch. October's the best time for autumn colors, or go in May and June before the summer crowds hit. A weekend gives you enough time to see both the loch and the Trossachs properly. Number 3, the Isle of Skye. The Isle of Skye has been on every Scotland list for decades, and it keeps earning its place because the landscape constantly does something that photographs struggle to capture. It changes completely depending on the light, the cloud cover, and the time of day. Skye is the largest island in the Inner Hebrides, about 50 kilometers long, connected to the Scottish mainland by a bridge at Isle of Loch. The island has a resident population of around 12,000 and receives well over 500,000 visitors a year, which puts pressure on its roads and its most famous sites. The Cuillin Ridge is the highlight, a 12-kilometer arc of black Cuillin peaks and Scotland's only genuinely alpine terrain. Scrambling and climbing here needs serious technical skills. The Trotternish Peninsula has the Old Man of Storr, a dramatic basalt pinnacle, and the Quay Ring with its wild tilted columns and hidden plateau, unlike anywhere else in Britain. The fairy pools near Glenbrittle are stunning, clear blue freshwater pools in the lower Cuillins. Dunvegan Castle, home to the MacLeod chiefs for 800 years, is Scotland's oldest continuously inhabited castle. My favorite version of Skye is when clouds sit on the Coolin at about 400 meters and the light between the clouds and the moorland turns everything silver. The island completely changes character in that light and it happens regularly. I'd say stay at least 3 full nights. The island is bigger than it looks on a map, and the main sites are widely spread. June and September are the best months to visit. Summer brings significant traffic on the single-track roads, so arrive early at the ferry pools and the store to get reasonable parking. Number 2. Inverness and the Highlands. Inverness is the capital of the Highlands, a compact, walkable city on the River Ness that serves as the most logical base for exploring one of the largest and emptiest regions of land in Western Europe. Inverness sits at the northeastern end of the Great Glen, where the Ness River meets the Beauty Firth. It's about 3 hours from Edinburgh by train, and from it you can reach Loch Ness, the Black Isle, Easter Ross, Sutherland, and Caithness, landscapes that most travelers never reach. Culloden Battlefield, 6 kilometers east, is where Britain's last battle happened in 1746. Bonnie Prince Charlie's Jacobite forces got crushed in under an hour. The visitor center handles it really well. For many international visitors, this is also the landscape that made them fall in love with Scotland through Outlander. Loch Ness is famous for its monster, but the actual landscape is gorgeous and worth the visit. It stretches 37 kilometers southwest with ruined Urquhart Castle on the western bank, perfect for photos. Beyond that, Glen Affric to the west is one of Scotland's most beautiful glens, with ancient pine woods and a route to the remote west coast. Honestly, the best thing to do from Inverness is to get off the main roads and drive north into Sutherland and Caithness. The landscape thins out to something genuinely empty. Few settlements, massive skies, coastline that the tourist circuit hasn't reached yet. Inverness makes a great 3-night base if you want to explore in different directions. You'll need a rental car though if you want to get beyond Loch Ness and Culloden. Before I reveal number 1, the place our whole team agreed belongs at the top of the list, I want to take a moment to explain why I made this video in the first place. Planning a Scotland trip beyond the obvious stops is harder than it looks. The Highlands cover an enormous area, transport connections outside the main towns are limited, and the most rewarding places often require knowing exactly where to stay and when to go. Getting that planning right makes the difference between a great trip and a frustrating one. And that's exactly what Optimized Travel was built for. Our concierge team builds bespoke Scottish itineraries, whether you want a week in the islands, a Highland driving route, or the full sweep from Edinburgh to Orkney, for travelers who want to see the country properly. Head to optimizedtravel.com to find out more or click the link in the description. And now, number 1, Edinburgh. Edinburgh is one of those capital cities that justifies everything thrown at it and then some. The combination of a medieval castle on a volcanic plug, a UNESCO World Heritage Old Town that it was barely changed since the 18th century, and one of the most dramatic natural settings of any European capital makes it hard to oversell. Edinburgh Castle sits on a volcanic plug that's been fortified for nearly 3,000 years. From there, the Royal Mile runs east through the Old Town to Holyrood House, basically the monarch's Scottish home. The medieval streets are still pretty much intact, with all these narrow lanes branching off everywhere. Arthur's Seat is an ancient volcanic hill right in the city, and you can hike it from the center in under 2 hours. The views of the whole city and the Firth of Forth are amazing. And then there's the new town to the north, a gorgeous Georgian-planned city built from the 1760s. It's got this elegant grid of stone streets that's honestly one of the best examples of Georgian planning in the world. The city's culture ranges from the National Museum of Scotland, free, one of the best in the UK, to the Edinburgh Festival Fringe in August, one of the largest art festivals on Earth. The Scott Monument on Princess Street is the largest monument to a writer anywhere in the world. And honestly, Edinburgh's at its best on a freezing November or November morning. The castle covered in mist, the Royal Mile wet and moody, the old town looking like it walked straight out of a Gothic horror. Definitely worth the early start. Edinburgh's brilliant year-round. August brings the festival an incredible energy. but you're looking at heaving crowds and sky-high prices. Then May, June, September, and October are way better. Better weather and actually space to breathe. Budget at least 3 full days though. Just the castle and Old Town will eat up 2 of them. These are the 10 best places to visit in Scotland. From the prehistoric stones of Orkney and the empty Cairngorms Plateau all the way to the Castle Rock of Edinburgh, Scotland has a range that most people only begin to appreciate once they're actually there. If you're ready to plan your trip, head to optimizetravel.com. Our team is ready to help you build the perfect Scottish itinerary. And let me know in the comments, would you head straight for the Highlands and Islands or start in Edinburgh and work your way north? Drop it below, we read every single one. If you found this helpful, please don't forget to subscribe. We cover the world's best destinations every week and we'd love to have you along for the ride.